Today, I'm predicting all 8 division winners for the 2026 season. I'll explain why each team can win their division, what their biggest strengths are, and what could potentially stop them from getting there. Starting in the AFC East, we have the Buffalo Bills catching minus 125, the Patriots plus 125, Jets plus 2,000, and the Dolphins plus 3,000. Not surprising seeing the Jets and Dolphins catching that much of value. This is definitely a two-team division. Um, Ultimately, this is up for debate, and I have kind of a how do I say this? I don't really like taking division winners at minus where I'm not getting any value. So ultimately, this just basically comes down to if you want to lay that kind of juice with the Bills, which I don't think it's worth it. I'm gonna go with the Patriots just based on I think Drake May will be a little. I mean, we've seen what Drake May's looked like in the offseason, right? He's gotten a lot bigger. He learned and obviously didn't have his greatest game in the Super Bowl, but I think this is going to be a. I haven't. The schedule is going to be whatever it is. I mean, that was always the talking point of the Patriots. They had a little bit of an easy schedule. Can't really do anything. They don't choose their own schedule, right? They just play what's on there. So say what you want. I think Josh Allen is Josh Allen, and he can be in the MVP race. But ultimately, I think the Patriots are the better squad here. And I'm going to go with the Patriots at plus 125 just solely based on the value. I don't think it's worth it taking a favorite at minus 125 if we're not getting it. I don't think the Jets or Dolphins have any semblance of a chance, so at least not this year. In the AFC North, we have the Baltimore Ravens at minus 115, the Bengals at plus 185. We have the Steelers at plus 550, and the Browns at plus 2200. I don't think the Ravens are worth minus 115. I don't think they've gotten. Obviously, they got Trey Hendrickson, so the defense will be a little bit more improved. I don't think they're worth minus 115 for this. So in this division, I'm going to take a shot, and I'm going to pick the team in the AFC North that's had the best offseason and the best draft. Undeniably, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers at plus 550. Um, Obviously, you have the aging last season Aaron Rodgers. You don't really know what the Bengals are going to be this year. I mean, they kind of were picked it up at the end of last year, kind of not really. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think the value's there. I like the team. A lot of great pickups in the offseason. And ultimately I think that's a great shot for getting great value and some great ROI. So I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North. All right, we move on to the AFC South. We have the Texans at plus 135, Jacksonville at plus 190, Colts at plus 370, and the Titans at plus 850. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I'm taking the favorite in this one. I think the Texans are going to win this division. I do not like the Jaguars, and I don't like Trevor Lawrence. I just don't believe it. But what do I know? I'm not in the NFL. I'm talking about the NFL. But you're here to listen to what I have to say, and I don't believe in the Jaguars. I don't think that they're going to have the same success they did last year. I'm not a huge fan of the Colts this year either. Old Daniel Jones, don't know if he's going to be ready to go. Um, and the Titans are the Titans. I think this time next year we'll be having a much different conversation about the Tennessee Titans. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. AFC South is going to be the Houston Texans. My only hesitation is CJ Stroud. Is he good? What happened to CJ Stroud? And that's pretty much the only thing holding me back from making this my favorite pick. So ultimately, if CJ Stroud can play average, he can be an average NFL quarterback. Texans will win this division at plus 135. So I'm going to go with the Texans. Let's move on. Now in the AFC West, we have the Chiefs at plus 180, Chargers at plus 180, Broncos at plus 210, and the Raiders at plus 1500. I haven't gotten any news on Mahomes. Is he going to be ready to go? How long is he going to be out? Um, it's Travis Kelsey's last year. Just picked up Kenneth Walker. Defense got a little better. I'm definitely not taking the Chargers. I have no faith in them being. I think the Broncos should be higher than them realistically. And like I said in the previous division, with the Titans, I think we're going to be having a different conversation about the Raiders this time next year as well. But I just don't think it's this year. I think the Raiders are going to be surprising, and yeah, I just don't think it's this year. But in the AFC West. Assuming that Mahomes is not 100% coming back, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos. I think they left a lot on the table last year. They got a bad taste in their mouth of how it went down. Bo Nix is going to have a grind or an axe to grind. Should have went to the Super Bowl arguably had he not gotten hurt, but you can't control that, right? You got to just that those things happen. So I think the value here is with the Broncos. I wouldn't hate the Chiefs pick. I wouldn't if you pick the Chiefs, then that's also a great pick. But I'm going to be putting my money on the Denver Broncos to win the AFC West. Moving on to the NFC East. Now, what is going on in Philadelphia? A lot of offseason changes, a lot of Jalen Hurts talk. Is he really that good? You can't deny he's good. I'm not going to sit here and hate on the guy. He's successful. He's won a Super Bowl. But I don't. This division stinks, man. I don't want to spend too much time on this division. Let me pull up my notes here. And in the NFC East, we have the Eagles at plus 135, Cowboys at plus 200, the Commanders at plus 450, and the Giants at plus 550. This has been the closest division odds-wise we've had so far. I'm using FanDuel, by the way, for these odds. You obviously shop around for different odds. I'm just using FanDuel because it was the most convenient. So that tells me that the odds makers think this division is going to be a little closer than most people are talking. So I'm not going to put money on the Cowboys to win the division, even though they were really, really good at home last year. Man, I'm going to have to just take the Eagles at plus 135, man. They have the best offensive, defensive line in the division. And I think ultimately they don't have better wide receivers than the Cowboys. So I can't say that. But I'm just going to go with the Eagles solely based on no faith in the Giants yet. I think the Giants are making something over there. They're cooking. This time next year, you've heard me say it twice now. It could be a little different conversation about New York. Commanders, I'm not high on them. Not high on the Commanders. I do like Jaden Daniels. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year. So it ultimately becomes if you're a Cowboys fan or an Eagles fan. And I think the public is not going to put money on the Cowboys to win anything. So I'm going to go with the Eagles just purely based on I think they have the best unit in the trenches. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC East at plus 135. All right, now this is where my team is in the NFC North, so just hear me out here. So we have the Lions at plus 145. Should not be the favorite to win this division. I don't know why that's a thing. I have the Packers at plus 270, the Bears at plus 320, and the Minnesota Vikings at 480. Now, any of these four teams on any given year can win this division. And I'm just going to be blunt. I'm a Vikings fan, and that's ultimately caused me a lot of pain over the years. But I'm not picking the Vikings to win the division. We don't even know who the quarterback is. It sounds like it's Kyler, and even if it is Kyler, how good is he going to be? But why are the Lions favored by this much? I feel like this is just the whole golf narrative on playing indoors and outdoors. It's a real thing. I think the Lions missed their Super Bowl window. They had 1 year to do it, and they blew it. So that's my blunt observation of the Lions. Packers, the Packers kind of tripped into the finish line last year. Lost the final game to the Vikings, and just kind of I don't know what to feel about the Packers, man. So you're probably saying, Derek, who are you going to pick then? I'm picking the Chicago Bears at plus 320. They're cooking over there. Is it going to be Chicago for much longer? They're moving to Indiana, aren't they? Which makes no sense. Soldier Field is one of the most iconic stadiums in the NFL. Stupid. Be a different video on that later. But I'm going to have to go with the Chicago Bears at plus 320. I think they shined last year. I think Caleb Williams is going to get a lot better. Now, if you're one of those people that watched last year, obviously they lost the first game to the Vikings. Kind of started out slow and then picked it up. I imagine that's going to be a similar thing this year. Um, their coach runs a tight ship over there. He has hard practices on, it's talked about, any sport talking head's going to tell you they have hard practices in Chicago. So I imagine the Bears will have a tough, they'll stumble out of the gates a little bit. Maybe get a little better value if you want to wait a couple weeks till they're maybe, I don't have their schedule in front of me, but I'd say like maybe 2-3 weeks, you might get a little better number than this. But I'm going to bet on the Chicago Bears at plus 320 to win the NFC North. Let's go to the NFC South. All right, we're in the NFC South. This is I've said this the last like 3 divisions. I feel like the NFC divisions are a lot closer than the AFC. What does that tell you? Obviously the Buccaneers at plus 190, Saints at plus 260, Panthers at plus 310, and the Falcons at plus 320. How can you not bet on the Carolina Panthers to win this division? I love Baker Mayfield. I love what the Saints are doing as well. But I have a God, but the Panthers, my only thing holding me back from the Panthers is Rico Dowdle, man. They let him go. They let him go. I love Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young can be so good. Yeah, he was getting so much hate for so long. There's so much potential in this division, and this is what makes this one so hard to bet on because ultimately it could be. I don't think the Buccaneers are going to win the division. I think it's going to be the Saints or the Panthers. So ultimately, I'm at an impasse. Um, Panthers losing Rico Dowdle was kind of a big deal, man. Um, I don't want to be chalk and just take the Bucks, man. And for the Falcons, I mean Tua, man. I don't want to put money on Tua to win the NFC South, even though it's a little odd. What's the difference between the NFC South and the AFC West or the AFC East? Excuse me. I mean, is Tua gonna? We'll see how Tua is. That's also another video. Um, I'm just gonna be chalk and take the Buccaneers. I think the Saints and Panthers both could easily steal this division. I'm a Mayfield guy. I love Baker Mayfield. I love the Buccaneers. Like Buka, I'm taking the Buccaneers, even though I don't want to, because I want a little better value than that. But I'm going to take the Buccaneers to win this division, just solely based on I don't know what the Saints are. I know they will be very good in the future. So get them now while you can. This will be a whole different team in 2-3 years. In our final division, we have the NFC West, the Super Bowl winning division. The Rams at plus 100, Seahawks plus 200, 49ers at plus 310, and the Arizona Cardinals catching plus 3,000. If you've been, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but the Rams did just sign Myles Garrett. I don't know if you've heard of him. Also talks of Aaron Donald coming out of retirement. I'm going to take the Rams at plus 100. If you have to block Aaron Donald, granted, how good is he going to be coming off? How long has he been retired? 3-4 years. Still looks like an animal. He still looks in insane shape. How can you not take the Rams here, dude? That number's not going to be plus money for much longer. So, as far as the Seahawks go, obviously they lost Kenneth Walker. How will that impact him? Because a lot of people don't think Kenneth Walker was that good. Super Bowl MVP. I don't know how you can say he's not a top 10 running back, but what are the Seahawks going to be? Obviously, still have JSN, great offense. They didn't really lose too much on defense as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to take the Rams while I can still get them at plus 100. The 49ers, I just don't think they have it this year. They're cursed, man. And then the Cardinals, I don't even have to say anything. So sorry for Jeremiah Love. I hope he does well. But this division is ran by the Rams at plus 100. So those are my official NFL division winners. I'm just giving my opinion based on the date is June 6th. A lot can change. People can still sign. The odds are going to change a little bit. So maybe you want to wait till closer to. I would not wait. The only one I wouldn't wait on is the Rams here. I think that's going to be closer to minus 130 by the time the season starts. Assuming Aaron Donald comes out of retirement, which I don't know. But I want to hear from you guys, man. What do you guys think? Um, which one do you guys disagree or agree with? I want to hear it all. I'm always here to talk. Um, which prediction do you think I was just way off on? I mean, let me know. I mean, I'm always down to learn. I'm not gonna get offended by you telling me I'm stupid. If you disagree with me, just let me know. I want to have a good civil conversation, and maybe I'll change my mind, and maybe we'll do a little updated video on this closer to the season. So, um, yeah, drop your predictions down below. Thanks for watching my first video, and let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. Peace.